what are your tips? You've exploded a business and organization in this last year.
Yep.
Surely you know things that many other people don't. How do you manage your daily operations, your team, and all this?
Delegating and optimizing as much as possible and automating as much as possible with software so that humans don't have to do it. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, stuff hurts my head. And how about when it comes to leadership?
Yeah.
What's your position you play in your business now?
CEO.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who
is under me?
Yeah, like how many people do you have in like your corporate executive team, kind of like managers, blah blah blah?
Yeah, so in my internal team I have a COO, Jess, who helps me like run the whole business. And then we have a HR manager. And we're sort of at the point where I still have to be multiple managers. Like I'm also like CMO, I'm also like chief of sales, like but yeah, we have a HR manager and then we have team leaders underneath HR to help manage the wider team. So our company is broken up into groups of 10. So there's one team leader to every 9 virtual assistants. And so they help HR to manage the team, and HR help Jess to manage like the HR side of things, and Jess manages like the whole business pretty much with me. And then I'm still sort of like in sales and marketing as well.
So how do you make sure that everyone's doing what they need to be doing?
So we set KPIs, and so we work with our virtual assistants to make sure that they're hitting like KPIs for their clients. We have KPIs for the whole internal team as well, so that they're very clear on what they need to be working towards within the company, which sort of sit underneath the overall company goals. So we have like 3 company goals that we're working towards every year, and each person has like individual KPIs that are helping the company achieve their goals. So we sort of like set the company goals and then reverse engineer what everyone in the internal team needs to be working on. But also again, like systems, software, we use Monday.com, which I know you've just started using, or your team has started using.
Someone started using it.
Someone else is doing it. But yeah, it's really just about like tracking things, holding people accountable to what they're supposed to be working on. And if they're not doing that, then just having the conversation with them and saying, hey, this is your KPI. You've fallen short 3 weeks in a row. What's going on? Do you either need help, or is the KPI not achievable, or are you slacking off?
What are your keys to motivating your team? How do you keep them all motivated?
Yeah, something we've actually introduced recently, we started doing it in December of last year, is just more regular catch-ups and team meetings, which sort of sounds counterintuitive, but we now meet on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 30 minutes, like my internal team I'm talking about, not all of the VAs, but we meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Monday, we like set the goals for the week. We look at everyone's KPIs and we do a bit of a review of the week before, so that everyone's really clear on like what went well last week and what didn't go well and what they need to focus on this week. Then on Wednesday we meet and I teach them something, usually around like personal development, how they can sort of better themselves in their role, or that sort of stuff, just so that we're all, because everyone in my team really values growth. Like we've done personality tests and everyone really values growth. So I'm always teaching them new stuff. And then on Fridays we come together, we look at what went well this week, what didn't go well. We give feedback to everyone else in the team, like everyone else gives feedback, and then we also share the love, and just give everyone like compliments, and because a lot of people in my team have words of affirmation is their love languages. Yeah. And so implementing those has made the team feel so much more close-knit, and everyone's working so much better together because we're meeting more, like especially when you have an online team, it can feel hard. Like sometimes you feel like you're not even in a team, because like you might meet with other people once a week, and you don't really talk to them that much in Slack. Whereas like when we're actively meeting regularly, we're learning together, we're having fun, we're sharing the love, like it makes us feel so much more close-knit, and it's increased everyone's productivity heaps. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing some sort of.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, like, because your whole business is virtual.
Yep.
And so what are some problems you've ran into building a virtual team, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, so one thing is like tracking people's like not necessarily in my internal team, but like the wider team, all of our virtual assistants, like task tracking can be really hard when we're actually not involved in every client's day-to-day of running the business. So making sure that people are being proactive, staying on top of all of their projects and showing up and doing everything. So one way that we overcame that was just by like implementing team leaders that every single day are going into Slack, checking that people are working on things, that they're being productive, that sort of stuff. That has helped a lot. But still, like occasionally there are people that fall through the cracks and we won't notice for a couple of days, like if someone hasn't been as productive as they should have been. So it's one of the most difficult things about running a virtual assistant agency is that your business is people, and people can be unreliable, and people can not show up, and people can have typhoons in their area, and people can have bad internet. And like, so there's so many variables that like, no matter how much we try to control them, we just can't control all of the situations. And it's really frustrating sometimes as a leader, like especially like when you're still on a sales call, you're talking it up, like you're making these promises, and then to have a virtual assistant who in the interview process and in the trial period has said that they're going to act in a certain way and they've made certain promises, and then they start the job and they don't, it can be really frustrating. So
yeah, because you're like acting on behalf of.
Yeah.
What's something you wish you knew earlier on in business?
Ooh, that's a great question. One thing I wish I knew earlier is actually just in terms of generating leads, like take a more proactive lead generation approach. We get so many clients that come to us and their business isn't growing because they built a website and they post on social media and they're just waiting for clients to come to them. And I'm like, do reach out, like do organic reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, cold email, run paid ads, like make YouTube videos, like do all of the things, but be proactive in your approach. Don't like so many people are so passive and they just wait for referrals or they wait for clients to fill in their contact form on their website. And I'm like, that's not going to happen unless you're you're actively driving traffic there. So I think that was a big thing that I learned in this business. Like, and one thing that really helped us grow so quickly last year was just like implementing paid ads and taking like way more proactive lead generation approach.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you got value from this episode, it goes such a long way. If you can just take 20 seconds of your time, leave me a 5-star rating and written review, then screenshot this episode and share it to your story. And make sure you tag me for that shout out. And until next time, guys, go out there and dream out loud.